Welcome everybody to the Realberg Experience, a podcast for creative individuals from all walks of life. We talking to rap stars, politicians, photographers, you name it. Maintain and entertain, I bet the show gon' get famous. So go and take a seat and let the people get to meet the innovative individual that you will be. Let's go. Welcome everybody to the Realberg Experience, the podcast for creative individuals from all walks of life. I'm your host, DP. And today we welcome a special guest. Today's guest is a fourth generation conch, known around the island as one of the best leaders that Key West has ever had. Was the mayor of Key West for 5 terms and now throws his hat in the candidacy for commissioner of Monroe County. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the one and only Craig Cates. Thank you for coming on, Craig. How you doing today?
Great, man. Thanks for having me.
That's a pleasure. Definitely a pleasure, man. So how are things these days?
Well, obviously everybody's talking about COVID, right? That's part of our life in everything we do right now. But I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. I think our doctors are doing an amazing job treating people now. Obviously, it's not a death sentence, thank God. And we're moving forward and trying to get things back together, get our schools open, get our kids back to school, get events going so we can be with one another. You know, it's been difficult. That's the hardest part to me.
Man, so politics, man, it's like ever since I've known you, it's always been politics. How did that come about? Is that something that you wanted to do from a young man? Like, how did you get involved in politics from the beginning?
Well, it's kind of been in my family, but I didn't really have any part of it. My wife and I got married right out of high school in 71. We went together in high school. We got married. A couple of years later, we had our first daughter, and then we had 2 more daughters after that. Just working hard. I'm a mechanic. That's what my trade was. I went to Key West High School, auto mechanics, got out of there, went to work for a dealership, worked there for like 15 years, and then I opened my own shop, and I had a repair shop. And then I ended up, my wife worked with me. I fixed the cars, she'd write them up. And then we expanded the machine shop, then we expanded the auto parts store, and then we ended up retiring. And then I kind of got bored. I joked with people, I watched too much Oprah. I had to get back to work. So anyway, I was laying around a lot. So I said, you know what, I want to go back to Key West because we had bought another place. We was living in between Key West. And my oldest daughter lived in Tampa with 3 grandkids, and we were visiting them. So I said, I want to go back full time and run for mayor. And all my friends thought I was crazy because it's way out of character for me. But I love Key West, being born and raised here. And I just didn't like the direction it was going. We were losing part of our history. Nothing wrong with a lot of people moving here, but they were trying to kind of changing our character. So I wanted to try to preserve that. So come back full time, was elected, beat the 2-term incumbent, and then was elected 4 more times. The city, I really appreciate it. It was an honor. You know, there's only one other mayor in the history of Key West elected 5 times in a row. So I thought that was a great honor.
Yeah, if we could have got you 6.
Yeah.
We would have got you 6.
Yeah, I was term limited out. I couldn't run anymore. But what I was getting at is, no, I wasn't involved in this. It's a community service. I want to give back to my community. And I work with everyone. I'm easygoing. I told them I got a lot of patience because I raised 3 daughters. I wasn't used to getting my way. Had to work my way through that. So it was real awesome. And it's been an honor. My wife works closely by my side. We're always involved with the kids. Kids come first, Wesley House, Samuel's House. She's always involved in those boards, so I'll be able to bring, some help to those boards for being on the commission and the mayor. And that's what we continue to do, give back to the community. We love the kids.
So this election, going into this election, what are some of the most important things that you believe going into this election? What matters?
Well, I have 3 things that's kind of my priorities going in is obviously livability here. I say affordable housing, but I carry it to the next level, affordable living here. There's a lot of things, just high rent isn't the only thing why a lot of our kids have to leave and our friends have to leave. It's just because everything costs more. And if the government helps raise the price of things because of our taxes and licensing and all that, then we're part of the problem. So I want to bring that, work with the businesses to make it easier for them to make a living, run their business. They can hire employees. They can pay their employees more without putting it all into rent and taxes. So, and the other thing is we need to address the sea level rise. All right, we're like, we see it every day. We see the tides come up, flooded streets.
Right now.
We know that it's salt water. We don't drive through it. A lot of people just drive right through it. When it's in the car business, I didn't mind that because they were, I had to fix the car after that. But just joke. But anyway, that's a big priority for me to address that. And we need to work together. We need to get grants. So we need to work with the federal government. We got state government. We can't do it all on our own. And I bring that experience of been to Washington 12 times. I've been met with FEMA. I've been to Tallahassee many times to deal with issues for the city of Key West. So I have made relationships that I hope to bring to the county to help get money and funding for this. And the other thing is just really our quality of life, or raising our family here. We love the laid back attitude, but we also know we have to work hard and all. And it's not easy to stay here, but the community here is just amazing, and it's we feel so safe here, and that's what I want to continue and help preserve that.
Who is your opponent? Do you know your opponent?
Yeah, I know Annalise Mannix. She worked for the city. Actually, she was in sustainability when I was elected mayor. So I worked with her. I think she only worked there for 2 more years. Yeah, I know her well. I worked with her. Nice lady. And she has her expertise and her experience that she's bringing to the table, and I'm bringing mine to the table. Knowledge, community knowledge, historical knowledge, being in business here, raising my kids here, and all those different things that I bring to the table. I think it's more than she can bring. So not running, I don't like the campaigns nowadays that, to try to tear down your opponent.
Yeah.
I just try to show that I think I can bring more to the table than she can, and let the voters decide.
Do you guys have differences? Is there some differences you guys
Actually, we both, sea level rise a priority, affordable housing is a priority for both of us. We're both on the same page. She was involved at sea level rise when she worked for Key West. We had more improvements in sea level rise while I was mayor. Drainage systems over on George Street, on Laird Street, pump systems we put in. We have 140 injection wells around town and gravity wells to help drain off. We may flood for a little bit, but then it goes away within a few hours, and you can drive through it. Some areas it stays flooded for days. We've addressed a lot of that in Key West, and she worked on that. So she has maybe the experience with being an engineer in that field. I'm bringing this to where we can get the funding, the legislative part. Let's make the rules. Let's keep going in that direction, and we all need to work together. But that's what I bring to the seat.
Republicans and Democrats. What's the big difference? It's like, why? It's like, why is it? You know what I mean? Like,
It's
I don't.
sad.
It's about the people, right? It's
about
not
the
like because I'm Republican, I have to feel like one
No.
way.
And I keep telling people, like, when I ran for mayor, I was nonpartisan. See, that's a nonpartisan seat, so everybody runs the same, and there's no primary. We're all run together. When you went to the county, it goes partisan. Why, I don't know, because it still should not be a partisan seat, because there's not one thing you would vote on in the county that's partisan. I'm going to vote on it because I'm a Republican, or I'm going to vote on it because I'm a Democrat.
Yeah.
Now you get to Washington and Tallahassee, and unfortunately, there's a lot of partisanship that's really hurting our country. It really disappoints me. I don't go around beating any drums on any party. I think we're all the people. We may have different views. We may feel different about abortion, stuff like that. Okay, you in the party for certain things, but as far as what's best for the people, we're all in it together.
Yeah, this is true. Now, what do you feel about leadership at the top? How do you feel about our president?
I went to the White House 3 times, met President Obama, all right, and he was our president.
Yeah.
All right, and I thought he did a lot of great things. I think he did some things that I didn't care for. President Trump is our president. He does a lot of good things. I think he's done for the economy and all. He says a lot of dumb things, and he says he should think about before he opens his mouth. But just like you, he's our president right now, and we need to be behind our president because that affects all of us. All right. Now we have an election. We'll see who our new president is. If there is a new one, we'll keep. And then we got 4 years of him. Let's keep our country moving forward. I wish Washington would look at that like they used to look at that. Now everybody's got to come out a winner. All right. I thought, you get some, I get some. That's a win-win for everybody. But now, if you don't get it all, you're a loser. That's not the way it should be. It should be balanced negotiation, come out with what the best you can get out of that deal, and that's your deal. Not a winner and a loser. So hopefully we can get back to that. And it's a tough time right now, and it's very difficult.
COVID. It wouldn't. Did we talk about COVID? No, we talked about COVID before.
How it affected me.
Yeah.
We talked about it,
Like,
but there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
But if we're going in the right direction, I mean, we got our cases are rising a little bit right now. I know we got some rules, regulations in the county we put into place of mask wearing in the restaurant till you sit down, even in open areas, even tiki huts. Some people want us to lessen that restrictions, but I don't think it's time to let up now. They're not too difficult. It's not too hard to wear a mask right now to protect everyone else. It might not be the best, but that's all we know right now for the best that we can do. So I don't want to let up. They're increasing, but we open the schools, we open the restaurants to 100%, we open the bars back up. So we opened quite a few things. We all expected it to rise. Don't get scared because it's rising a little bit. The key is, the most important thing is how many people are in the hospital, all right, and how they're being treated, and are they staying in the hospital really sick, or are they coming in, being treated, and going home? That's what's going on now. We've got as high as 7, but I talked to the head of the hospital. They're being treated. The medications are working now. The doctors are getting much better at it, and then they're going home, and new people coming in sick, just like it does any cycle of people being ill. That being said, there's way less people in the hospital because we got all these other regulations. So there's a give and take here. This is the best we can do out of this and keeping our economy going, keeping people working. Nobody wants to be in a food line. Nobody wants to ask for money to pay their rent. They want to do it on their own. But when you put them in a spot where they can't work, they have to. We have to help one another. So we got to keep our businesses open as safely as possible.
What are some of the requirements of the county commissioner? Like, what are some of the things that you would have to do? I know you got to get funding. You have to work on funding for sea level rise, right? What are some of the other things that a county commissioner has to do?
Well, our government, the same way in Key West, is a city manager, a county manager, form of government. They do all the day-to-day running of the business. All right. All the employees work for the county manager or the city manager. We're legislative. We give directions. We approve the budget. We approve the expenses. You bring us your ideas. We hire the experts. We try to hire the best people in the field, engineers, building department officials, planners, all that. We try to hire the best and then they bring their ideas to us, and this is what they recommend, or we tell them, let's try to work on affordable housing. Let's try we got to do more on sea level rise. They'll bring ideas to us, how much it costs. Then we're legislative. We approve it or we disapprove it. We give them the direction to go in. We make the laws to run the county. We make the regulations. We set the fines. That's what we do. The day-to-day running of the business is run by your manager, which is the county manager or the city manager in Key West.
So your office then, now you'll be up the keys somewhere now, huh?
Yeah, we have 3 government centers, one in Key West, Marathon, and Key Largo. So every other month we do a meeting. We rotate. So Key West, Marathon, then Key Largo, then back to Key West, and that's how we haven't since COVID. We've been meeting virtually, but I want to get back out there and with the people in the area, and you go to lunch around that area, you meet with the people that come in and talk to you before and after the meeting. So I want to get back to that, but obviously safety first. But the governor's allowed us till the end of this month to meet virtually, because by law we have to meet in quorum has to be in person. All right, so we can meet virtually now. That'll end November, so I say for sure November, unless he extends it, we'll be meeting in person.
I know that you've been around black people all your life, man.
Right.
Like I know, and like this ain't my first time like being around you. You know, it's like you've always been an accepting person. Like, where did that begin? Like, how far do you go back in like Bahama Village and that history?
Well, that's great. Back in the late 60s and early 70s, we had racial tension then too.
Yeah.
But, it was different. Everybody was fighting for their rights and all. Had many black friends. My best friend, one of my best friends in high school, I don't even remember his real name. We just called him Black Alex.
Oh, yeah.
We had white Alexes, and we got fences. Everybody knew that's Black Alex, We were great friends, grew up together. But a little story, I moved to Davie, which is, and I didn't know what Davie was when Cheryl and I first got married. The Navy had just pulled out and the economy was bad, so we tried to work here, so we had to move away for a little bit. It's up there by Hollywood. And then I was working at a dealership, made good friends with a black guy. I think his name was Brian, I think it was Brian. This is 40-something years ago. But anyway, invited him to our house for dinner one night, and he goes, "Man, I can't come over there to Davie after dark. Black people aren't allowed in there." I was like, "What? What the hell are you talking about?" So I did, but coming from Key West, I never knew anything like that. I mean, it just. I talk about it I talked about it at many events I went to. Key West is kind of unique. It goes back for generations. Before we had a road here, everything came by boat. Yeah. Everybody had to depend on one another. Hurricane come, all right? There was no FEMA coming in and bringing in resources out there. Everybody had to take care of one another. There was nobody else out there running into the rescue. So everybody got along and depended on one another and helped one another. Growing up like that, generations of that, I think that's what still carries on in Key West, and that still gives us that special hometown feeling where we all get along.
That's awesome. Definitely, man. Yeah. Did you know Shine and all of them? You know all those guys?
Well, I didn't know them really personally, but obviously knew who they were.
Yeah.
For sure.
I knew Shine, man. I used to see him all the time. I know a bunch of those guys, man. Kind of lost their mind, like, later on in life, man. Yeah, man. They were cool people, though, man. Like, them days are over with. Them
it's
days are
sad,
Yeah.
But they don't have to be gone forever. You know what?
Yeah.
We just gotta learn to get back together. I mean, maybe I'm a dreamer.
Yeah, it's rough, man. What can you say? Bahama Village, it's just different. That's just life. It's evolution. Everything changes, and you have to.
Well, Bahama Village, because Bahamians, I'm half Bahamian.
Yeah.
My grandfather was actually born in Rock Sound in Eleuthera. My grandmother was born here, but her family was from the Bahamas, and then a couple generations up the Keys, because a lot of Bahamians came to the Keys because it was farming, fishing, and wrecking, all the same stuff they had over there.
Cool.
So they came here, but I grew up down on Fleming Street. That's the same thing. There was conchs everywhere around that, but they're all moved out. Where I grew up is the Ambrosia House, is a guest house now. That was my great uncle, which was a sheriff of Monroe County. My mom's mother died when she was young, and he raised my mom and her three sisters. So then she ended up, we lived there for a while upstairs of it. It was a 2-story place. So, a lot of families lived together back then and all. So that's where I grew up. There's no hardly any conks down there now. They're all moved out into Newtown. So the same thing's happening to Bahama Village. People coming in, paying a lot of money for them houses, which can't blame them for selling. You know, keep people end up being property rich and cash poor down there. They got a very valuable piece of property, but you know, taxes. We talk about affordability, try to keep down. We can run them out of their house just by raising the taxes. You know, they can be frugal in a lot of other ways to save money, but if we keep raising the taxes, they don't have any choice but to pay that. So that's part of what we can do as a government.
Yeah, man. Let's get off topic a little bit. Let's talk about how you met your wife. How you met your wife? How did that happen? How long ago was it? Like, okay, you've been married for 49 years, but obviously
I only met her 4 months before we got married.
4 months before you got married.
We went to a party and she was having a good time. I go, oh man, how pretty that girl is. Why did she talk to me? You know, so talked to her a little bit there, and then we end up meeting a few times after that, started going together, and then we graduated in June and got married in September, and we've been together ever since. Started out with $100 that we got at our wedding, and we've been together ever since. Made everything together, so that makes it really special when you earn everything together. You have your kids, you raise them together. It's a real special bond we have.
That's a blessing. Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
definitely blessed, man.
Absolutely.
For sure. It's like, man, you're blessed and you're tough because you have plenty of women in your life. You got
even our dogs were females. So.
Yeah, it's like you should at some point you gotta make a stand and say no. The dogs are gonna be boys, man. We're not cutting them. This election is one for the books for sure, man. This is like the craziest time ever. It's like all of this stuff in combination. You know, you got the elections, you got COVID, you got Trump. It's like so much. Then you got, you know, LGBTQ. It's so much going on at one time. It's the world is in an uproar. I never thought I'd see a day like this, to be honest, man. You know? It's like, man.
I agree with you, but it's our responsibility to try to reel it back in.
I don't know, man. The election is when? How long? November 3rd?
November 3rd, early voting started Monday. And I think in Monroe County, 1,800 people voted yesterday.
1,800 people?
Yes, just first day of early voting. And they're lined up there today in the rain with umbrellas. People want to get their voice out there this year. And I'm excited about it because that's the process, that's how it works. You know, you can't sit back there and complain if you don't get out there and vote and try to put the right people in there. And if your person you put in there doesn't do the right thing, next time, put somebody else in there. That's the way it's supposed to work. So I see it working there this year, and I'm hoping for the best.
It's unprecedented, huh? It's like this. Have you ever seen anything like this in your life?
No. I used to enjoy campaigning because out meeting people. I used to meet so many people that knew my mom, and they said my mom helped them when she was in office. And then I found out I had family. I didn't even know how, you know, Key West, we're all kind of related. One way, or we go back far enough. So I had a lot of family I didn't know I had. Loved that. This year, haven't been able to do that. You know, it's all been on Zoom, and also I missed that part of it. You know, but hopefully we'll get all that back soon.
You're a good man. I know that much, man.
Well, I appreciate that very much.
Oh, definitely, man. Like, you know, you can tell a character, you know what I mean? It's like you laid back, you chill, you get business done, get the job done, man. You know, you've never been a certain kind of way towards me, and I definitely appreciate that. You know, I recognize that, you know, but I just want to thank you for all you do.
Well, I'm a people person. I didn't even know it. But working on cars, you know, communicating with people, that's a big part of fixing a car. You come in with your car, I talk to you. What's it doing? You know, what'd you hear? I ask you questions. And so I didn't even realize that it worked good when I ran for office and communicating, but always working on cars. I have to interpret what you're trying to say too. You know, you might not be able to say it exactly how you mean it. So it's important for the interpretation of what you're trying to say and understand that And I think that's been very valuable in public office because people are trying to say something, don't know exactly how to express it, and I can help them bring it out.
Definitely. I see that a lot too. Man, anything else you want to get out before we close out? Well, I just want to thank you for coming on today. You definitely turned my attitude around, man, because I was kind of feeling a little bit negative, man. And there's a few people that do that for me. You know, Joy Newlish, Bring Joy? Is that the name of the park? That one helped me out too. Someone.
I love Joy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her dad is the one that did the tiger. And
oh,
worked
really?
with her to get the tiger restored and put it back in the front of City Hall. That was a big thing. Yeah, she's wonderful.
I just saw her dog on Facebook yesterday and cheered me up. You know,
she's positive. I love the positive attitude.
I mean, it helps. You need that. You know what I mean? Because it's like you say, when you look at social media and stuff, sometimes it's like they put in all the negative stuff, and you sit there, you watch it, you relive it, and it just kind of gets inside, man. But you got to always remember that things could be a lot worse. You know, a lot of people do have it worse. You got people fighting for rights in some places, man. And, you know, at the end of the day, we ultimately have it good.
Absolutely. I always tell my kids, you know, you think you got it bad, look around. Look at this person, what they're doing with that person. And I go, then you don't have it so bad. There's always somebody's going to have it better. You can't worry about somebody having it better than you. You know, you do the best you can and then be comfortable with where you're at. If not, you'll just live your whole life wanting to be something that you're not. Enjoy where you're at.
Yes, most definitely. A friend of mine, before we close this out, a friend of mine was just diagnosed with a tumor in the brain.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And, you know, I just want to give him a shout out, shout out to my homeboy, Poppy Stalker. And if you guys have a chance, if you could donate anything, it would definitely be greatly appreciated. I don't know if I could say that it's my podcast. I can say whatever
you want.
Yeah, so if you guys could donate anything, it'd definitely be greatly appreciated. If not, prayers are also awesome, man. But I just want to thank you guys as always. Thank Craig Cates for coming through today. Tell the people to vote. Tell the people to vote.
Yes.
Tell them who to vote for.
Early voted starting already. If you applied for a mail-in ballot, make sure you send that back. November 3rd is election day. Some people like to vote election day. I do too. It's like a special thing to go out on election day and vote. And the other thing is go to my Facebook page, Craig Cates from Monroe County Commissioner District 1. See what I'm about. Or you can go to my website, craigcates.com, and see what I'm about, my family, and what we're trying to accomplish. So, Damali, thank you so much for having me on your show. Really enjoyed our video out in the boat. I thought that was a real special time to go out there. We had an amazing, beautiful day. Seen some good stuff out there and seen how Mother Nature has treated us so good down here in the Keys.
The captain. I mean, it was just like it's like, okay, this is the man. You know what I mean? He took me on the boat. I didn't get sick. You know what I mean? This is the captain.
You were so worried about getting sick.
I was freaking out.
Yes.
Like, man, but when I got out there, I was like, this is awesome, man. My wife called, was like, I ain't even thinking about sickness, man.
I kept you too busy.
It's awesome, man. I loved it, definitely,
Good,
man. But I appreciate you for coming by for sure, man. You guys, make sure you get out and vote. November 3rd, if you got early vote, go ahead and send it in. DP Photography, Craig Cates. We out.